Man who predicted California. Earthquake makes dire new prediction. In the realm of earthquake prediction, few figures have garnered as much attention and controversy as Jim Berkland. A former geologist, Berkland became widely known for his unconventional methods of forecasting seismic events, particularly in California. His approach, which incorporated observations of animal behavior, tidal patterns, and other environmental factors, led to claims of accurately predicting significant earthquakes. Despite skepticism from the scientific community, Berkland's predictions captivated the public and media alike. Now, years after his initial forecasts, Berkland has issued a new, dire prediction that has reignited debates about the feasibility and reliability of earthquake prediction. This article delves into Berkland's methodologies, examines the reactions from experts, and explores the broader implications of attempting to predict one of nature's most unpredictable phenomena. Jim Berkland's History of Earthquake Predictions. Jim Berkland made headlines in 1989 when he claimed to have predicted the Loma Prieta earthquake, which struck the San Francisco Bay Area on October 17th and caused widespread damage. A former geologist with the U.S. Geological Survey and Santa Clara County, Berkland had warned of heightened seismic activity just days before the quake hit. His method was based not on traditional seismology, but on a mix of lunar cycles, tidal forces, and reports of missing pets, an unusual blend that gained a cult following even as it was dismissed by many scientists. Berkland argued that animals often sense impending quakes before humans do. He believed the increased number of lost pet ads in local newspapers was one of the earliest warning signs. Along with animal behavior, he tracked what he called seismic windows, based on the gravitational pull of the Moon and Earth's position during the lunar cycle. These methods set him apart from the broader scientific community, which has long insisted that earthquakes cannot yet be predicted with precision. Still, for many members of the public, Berkland's record of alerts before significant tremors offered a sense of foresight that mainstream experts hadn't been able to provide. Despite repeated pushback from academics and institutions, Berkland continued his predictions for decades, often focusing on California and the West Coast. Some of his forecasts did not materialize, which critics pointed out as evidence that his work was more coincidental than scientific. Yet others noted that his alerts helped raise awareness about earthquake preparedness, which is often overlooked until disaster strikes. His role as a kind of folk seismologist left a mark, even if he remained on the margins of official earthquake science. The new warning: the big one is closer than you think. In his latest interview, Berkland has renewed concern with a stark warning about what he believes is an approaching megaquake for California. According to the recent BBC report, Berkland's supporters claim that signs he pointed to in the past are beginning to show up again: missing animal patterns, strange tidal shifts, and a rise in low-level seismic activity across known fault lines. He has singled out Southern California in particular, noting that the San Andreas Fault appears locked and loaded, a term geologists use when stress builds up without releasing pressure. His new prediction suggests a high-magnitude event is likely within the next several months, though he has not provided an exact date. He has advised people to pay attention to signs often dismissed, such as pets fleeing homes, strange noises underground, or subtle land shifts. In a recent statement, he said, "The Earth is talking. We just don't know how to listen." Berkland's warning comes amid broader concerns from geologists and emergency planners about California's overdue seismic activity. The San Andreas Fault, in particular, has not had a major rupture in the southern section since 1857. Most experts agree that the region is due for a significant quake. What separates Berkland's view is the belief that it can be timed based on environmental cues. His latest forecast has drawn mixed reactions. Some worry that such predictions incite unnecessary fear, while others see it as a call to action for emergency readiness. Regardless of the science, his message has reignited public conversation about the big one and what Californians should do to prepare. What scientists say about earthquake prediction. Mainstream geologists and seismologists remain firm on one point: earthquakes cannot be predicted. The U.S. Geological Survey has consistently stated that no reliable method exists for predicting the time, location, and magnitude of future earthquakes. While long-term forecasts based on fault history and stress accumulation are possible, short-term predictions, like those made by Jim Berkland, have not been scientifically verified. Experts argue that Berkland's methods, which include animal behavior and lunar influence, fall outside the scope of accepted scientific practice. They point to the lack of repeatable results and controlled studies supporting his theories. For example, while animals may exhibit unusual behavior before some earthquakes, these changes are hard to measure and often anecdotal. Lunar cycles and gravitational effects do influence tides, but the connection to seismic activity is considered speculative at best. Still, some scientists admit that the field is far from perfect. There is growing interest in using artificial intelligence, satellite imaging, and underground sensors to better detect patterns that could serve as early warnings. What the scientific community resists is assigning credibility to predictions that lack a solid data foundation. They caution that public trust in emergency alerts could be damaged by false alarms or non-scientific forecasts. Jim Berkland's critics don't doubt his sincerity, but they warn that his warnings can overshadow real preparation. Instead of waiting for a specific date or prediction, most experts urge residents in earthquake zones to keep emergency kits, reinforce homes, and follow established safety guidelines. Science might not have the answers yet, but preparation based on known risks is still the best way to reduce harm. Public reaction and the role of preparedness. Public response to Berkland's new prediction has been divided. Some dismiss it outright, calling it another unscientific scare tactic. Others are taking it seriously, using the warning as a reason to revisit safety plans. In an age where misinformation spreads fast and trust in institutions is under pressure, many people are more open than ever to voices outside traditional channels. Social media has played a large role in amplifying Berkland's message. Posts sharing his past predictions and new concerns have circulated widely, especially on platforms like Facebook and TikTok. Some users are sharing survival tips, stockpiling supplies, or making plans to leave high-risk zones temporarily. For people already uneasy about seismic risk, Berkland's message taps into real fear. In areas like Los Angeles and San Francisco, local authorities have responded by reminding residents that no verified prediction has been made. Emergency services have posted updates about how to prepare, including making evacuation plans and securing heavy furniture. Schools and workplaces have used the moment to review earthquake drills and safety systems. Even if Berkland's forecast never comes true, the spike in awareness may help save lives in the future. Earthquake preparedness often fades from the public mind until after disaster hits. Whether or not people believe in Berkland's theories, his voice has once again pushed earthquake safety into public conversation. The science behind the big one and California's seismic risk. California has long been considered one of the most earthquake-prone places in the United States. The San Andreas Fault, which runs roughly 800 miles through the state, is the most well-known fault line, but it's far from the only one. The Hayward Fault in the Bay Area, the Calaveras Fault, and the Puente Hills Fault beneath Los Angeles all pose serious risks. While small tremors occur daily, the concern lies in the eventual release of built-up tectonic stress, which could result in a massive quake. Scientists say the big one refers to a potential magnitude 7.8 or greater earthquake on the southern section of the San Andreas Fault. That section hasn't seen a major quake since 1857, meaning more than 160 years of pressure may be stored underground. Models suggest that a rupture of this kind could cause widespread destruction from Palm Springs to Los Angeles, with aftershocks felt across the state. Infrastructure is a big concern. Many older buildings, roads, and pipelines were not designed to withstand such a powerful event. Even systems upgraded to modern codes may be vulnerable to soil liquefaction, landslides, and fires sparked by broken gas lines. Hospitals and emergency centers could be overwhelmed. Scientists agree that this event will happen eventually. They just don't know when. That's why Berkland's claims, however disputed, resonate with a public that knows a disaster is coming, even if they don't know the date. Patterns, coincidences, and the psychology of prediction. One reason predictions like Berkland's gain traction is human nature. People are wired to look for patterns, even in random events. When a major disaster happens, it's common for people to retroactively find signs they missed. If someone reports unusual animal behavior or strange environmental cues before an earthquake, the connection feels meaningful, especially in hindsight. This tendency is known as confirmation bias. We remember the times a prediction came close and forget the times it didn't. Berkland's followers point to the 1989 quake and other tremors he warned about, but less often discuss the many times his predictions passed without incident. To the scientific community, this undermines the validity of his work, but to the general public, even a few hits are enough to build trust. There's also a sense of comfort in believing disasters can be predicted. It creates the illusion of control. Earthquakes strike without warning, which makes them uniquely frightening. The idea that someone, somewhere, has figured out a way to anticipate them offers psychological relief, even if it's not based in science. In this space between fact and fear, people like Jim Berkland thrive. His predictions are rarely specific enough to disprove outright, and his followers are often more interested in what could happen than what's been proven. The tension between public belief and scientific skepticism keeps his name alive in earthquake discussions, even decades after his retirement. Comparing Berkland's forecasts with modern early warning systems. While Jim Berkland's methods are based on environmental observation and instinct, modern technology is building a very different type of alert system. In recent years, California has implemented an early warning system called ShakeAlert. Developed by the U.S. Geological Survey and its partners, ShakeAlert uses a network of seismic sensors to detect the first waves of an earthquake. These waves travel faster than the more damaging waves that follow. This system can give people several seconds, and in some cases, more than a minute, of warning before shaking begins. ShakeAlert has already proven useful in issuing alerts before moderate earthquakes. In places like schools, transit systems, and factories, even a brief warning can be enough to save lives. Trains can slow, gas lines can shut off, and people can duck for cover. Unlike Berkland's long-range predictions, ShakeAlert is not about forecasting events months in advance. It's about providing a warning when an earthquake is already underway, but has not yet reached a specific area. Berkland's predictions often rely on correlations and signs that are hard to quantify. In contrast, early warning systems are built on real-time data and measurable signals. Still, both speak to the same need, the desire to reduce harm and gain a sense of control over seismic threats. Where they differ is in their foundation. One is observational and speculative. The other is scientific and calibrated. As technology improves, systems like ShakeAlert will likely become more reliable and widely used. Whether people still put stock in Berkland's warnings or not, these systems may eventually deliver what he always hoped to provide: advanced warning and a chance to act. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Berkland is correct? Let us know in the comments section below.